feel like we're getting spicy. I feel like I'm gonna get sent a cease and desist from Peloton. But let's do it anyway. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily and today I'm going to attempt to answer the question, is Peloton a cult? Okay, now before Peloton's lawyers come at me, I just want to say that I am a Peloton member, I'm a Peloton user, I'm a Peloton lover. This is no shade, no hate, no, I said hate, no hate towards the company. I'm not trying to be disparaging, nothing like that. I've just been interested. I've been listening to this podcast called Sounds Like a Cult for like 2 weeks now. They did an episode on SoulCycle, which is indoor cycling, much like Peloton. I think SoulCycle came first. Obviously, when they did that episode, they brought up Peloton because they're just so similar. I was thinking like a lot of these things that they're talking about with SoulCycle are also applicable to Peloton. So I just got to thinking, like, is Peloton a cult? Now, the word cult has obviously a very insidious connotation to it. I am in no way trying to compare Peloton to something like Jonestown or anything like that. There are just easily Googleable characteristics that make up a lot of cults. And so I looked some of them up and we're gonna talk about them to see if Peloton fits into any of them. This is not scholarly research. This is purely for entertainment purposes. This is probably like the third thing that showed up on Google when I Googled what makes up a cult. It's not serious, it's all in good fun. Let's figure it out. Let's get started. Okay, so let me start by reading you off this list of characteristics that I found that are characteristics typically found in cults, and then we'll go through them each. So we've got a charismatic leader, ideological purity, conformity and control, mind-altering practices, isolation and love bombing, us versus them mentality, apocalyptic thinking, and time and energy. So those are the characteristics that I'm going to be discussing. We'll see if Peloton falls into them and decide from there. So let's start off with the first one, a charismatic leader. I have my laptop here just because I have a lot of thoughts and I want to make sure that I'm making this not me just like talking endlessly like I am right now. So a charismatic leader. This one I think is a little iffy. There's a couple ways that I want to look at it. So the current leader or like CEO is new, so I don't want to really talk about him all that much. I do know that people love and loved John Foley, the former CEO. They just switched over like a few months ago, I think. People really loved him. It was like a badge of honor to get a high five from him during a workout. Instructors like Jen Sherman talk about him hiring them and just like absolutely changing their lives and praising him. So yeah, that I don't think he was so much of a charismatic leader that he himself could have been like a cult leader. Like, I don't think he was the reason people were coming to and staying with Peloton, but I do think it's interesting to note that he was sort of treated as kind of like a celebrity in the Peloton community. Like, taking a picture of you and a high five from him. I know when people were in the studio, they would like love to be in a class with him. It was like a thing. Not so much with the new CEO yet. Who knows if that'll change. I think where this one gets interesting is if you think of the leaders not as like one leader of the company, but the instructors themselves. Because in that case, each one of them is a charismatic leader of their own like mini cult in a way. I mean, like, each instructor has their own following, their own group of people that like to ride with them or work out with them or whatever. I mean, you've got like Cody with the Boo Crew, you've got Kendall and the Knockouts, you've got Ali Love and the Love Squad, you've got Robin Arzón and her Wolf Pack. All of them have their own following with their own little name, their own little hashtag. In that sense, the Peloton experience is about the charismatic leader. It is about who you like to ride with and work out with. I mean, if you watch my ranking Peloton instructor, video, then you'll know, like, from my opinions and the opinions of a lot of other people, who they ride with is their Peloton experience. It's all about the instructors that they ride with. So yeah, I think that in that way, if you look at them, the instructors, as individual leaders, then yeah, charismatic leader, definitely a part of the Peloton experience. Okay, the second characteristic that we're talking about is ideological purity. So this is, like, according to the research that I did, this is discouraging questioning the group doctrine and doubts are met with shame. So, I mean, Peloton's most recent ad campaign has it's been taking old social media posts or tidbits from think pieces from Peloton doubters from years ago, side by side with those same people now praising the Peloton and praising the company and, you know, talking about how much they love their Peloton and how much it's changed their lives, like a side by side of people who shit on them before and now they're members. So I don't know if that really counts as ideological purity and, like, doubts are met with shame, but they really are shaming these people in their ads, like, haha, stupid, we got you. Honestly though, like, this one is kind of a stretch because it's not like, no one's gonna boot you off the Peloton island for saying anything bad about them. If I show up dead after this video is released, well, maybe rethink that. But they're not going to, you're not going to get kicked off the island for talking bad about Peloton if you're part of the Peloton community. You're not going to be shamed for criticizing at least not by the company. Other Peloton members might criticize you, but you're not going to get criticized for being like, oh, like, I don't like the new boxing program. Like, I'd rather just go box in a gym, you know? Like, it's not, there in no way is the Peloton, the company itself, trying to indoctrinate you with the idea that Peloton good, everything else bad. That one's a stretch. We're gonna say not a cult when it comes to ideological purity. The next one is conformity and control. This was another one that I think is kind of a stretch because nobody at Peloton has any control over our lives. It's not like you buy a Peloton and all of a sudden you're handing over all of your agency to the person on the other side of the screen. But that being said, I mean, you do relinquish some control. I think that the concept of Peloton can have some sort of control over you, like the concept of community, the concept of wanting to work out, those kinds of things can exhibit some sort of control over you, but the company itself has no control over you. So that one's a no. Conformity is an interesting one because when I think about conformity, I think about the Peloton apparel, right? So all of the instructors have to wear, I think it's at least one piece of Peloton branded clothing when they teach. So, you know, whether that be pants, bike shorts, t-shirt, sports bra, Peloton shoes, whatever. Like, they're all wearing something with the Peloton logo on it. And then in turn, that apparel that they're wearing is available for purchase. You take a workout with Kendall and you see her wearing this cool Peloton sports bra, then you want that cool Peloton sports bra and then you go buy it. And then all of a sudden we're all wearing the same Peloton attire every time we clip in to the ride. I think it's subtle. I think for the company it's probably more about just making money than it is about getting us all to look alike, but we do all tend to start to look alike. And if you really look at it, like when they do new apparel drops, like they recently did a spring drop, and for the last like 6 weeks, all of the female instructors have been wearing the same outfits from the spring apparel line. They all have been wearing the same leggings, sports bra, you know, different mixes and variations, but they've all been wearing it. At least for me, as someone who's very susceptible to like marketing, like I see that and I want that, and I have bought stuff from the spring line just because I was like, oh, they're all wearing it and it looks really cool. I want to look cool too. So there is a sense of conformity there, like wanting to fit in, wanting to be part of the team and look like you belong to the team. I mean, hell, I'm wearing Peloton apparel right now, and when I see people out wearing Peloton apparel, wearing their Century shirts, I'm like, okay, that's my people. You know, there is a sense of conformity there, I really think. I have no shame about the fact that I bought apparel just because I've seen an instructor wear it, and that's because I don't have a reason. Yeah. I'm a sucker for good marketing. This next one made me giggle because I thought it was so ridiculous. And then I thought about it and I didn't think it was so ridiculous anymore. So, mind-altering practices. This is defined by this Google search as things like sleep deprivation, chanting, meditation, and drugs. No one at Peloton is making you take drugs, so we'll take that one off. No one at Peloton is making you stay up all night, so we'll take that one off too. Although, I do wake up really early sometimes to work out and I feel sleep deprived, but that's my own fault. I'm not gonna blame that on Peloton. So yeah, drugs and sleep deprivation, like that's not going on, obviously. Chanting and meditation though. Look, I don't think there's anything wrong with meditation. I think there's a difference between like good meditation and like the kind of meditation that they're talking about, like group meditation where you're kind of all supposed to be thinking about like one thing that furthers the group along. But I never meditated before Peloton, and now I meditate like several times a week, so there's something to be said there. And then chanting really got to me, right? Because when you think of like a cult and chanting, you think of like, I don't even know. The first thing that comes to my mind is, again, like the People's Temple, Jonestown, singing gospel through their teeth like this, like, you know, like that's the first thing that comes to my mind. But like, honestly, the instructors, they'll have you say things, you know, like I took a 60-minute ride with Jen Sherman a few weeks ago, and the whole time she kept saying, like, repeat after me, I am amazing. And I just kept saying it over and over again. And that's not the first time that I've like been compelled to like repeat a mantra that one of the instructors has said. And I'm not like a mantra person. I'm not religious. I'm not singing the praises of the Lord on Sunday. Like I'm not that kind of person, but they'll, if a Peloton instructor tells me to say something in the middle of my workout, I'm gonna say it. There's something to be said for that. And John wanted me to add in, when I was talking about this video with him and I was talking about the mind-altering practices, and I said, you know, that one's kind of a stretch. He was like, I don't know, because I've heard you in there full-on crying on your bike, screaming, singing, all in the same 30 minutes. So there's something going on there. And he's got a point. He's definitely got a point. I don't think it's necessarily bad, but there's definitely some mind-altering going on. Alright, the next characteristic I'm going to talk about is isolation and love bombing. Isolation is a difficult one just because of the semantics of it. Because, yeah, like, we're not in a studio anymore. You're at home by yourself on a bike with someone on the other side of the screen, and that's it. So technically, yes, you're alone, you're isolated. The workout at home, the isolation part of it, that's just a product of the world that we live in, you know, doing our workouts at home and not in a gym. So we're not going to blame Peloton for being isolated when we work out, especially because they really do make it feel like a community. I mean, like, yeah, you're alone in your room, but you have a live leaderboard filled with a bunch of other people who are taking the exact same ride at the exact same time at their house. So like, you're not alone. You know, you can add friends. If you don't add me on Peloton, add me on Peloton. I'll add you back, we can ride together. You can have friends that you ride with. You put hashtags so that you have, you know, groups of people. Like I'm part of the hardcore on the floor family, so I have hashtag hardcore. I get to see all my hardcore peeps on the leaderboard. Like, you're not isolated. That one's just semantics. Technically you're alone, but like, you're not alone. You're just alone physically. Unless you work out with people in your house. And some people have multiple Pelotons and they work out with their husbands. John doesn't ride the Peloton. He's not allowed. I don't want him to die like big. Love bombing? There's a lot of love bombing. And this is where I feel like I'm towing the line here because cults have that insidious connotation, and some of this stuff, these words like conformity and control and love bombing, are like associated with like toxic relationships. But like in this case, like love bombing does exist in the Peloton community, but I don't think it's in a toxic nature. It's, you know, I'm thinking of it in terms of like you get high fives from people when you know, it'll show up in your feed like it's so-and-so's 10th ride, you give them a high five. You don't know that person, but you're giving them encouragement. The instructors are constantly saying things like how great you are and how strong you are and like remember who you are and you're awesome and you're doing great and blah 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 blah. Yeah, that's technically a lot of love bombing, but it's meant to be motivational, not to be like, I love you so much and nobody loves you as much as I do. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's sort of where that leans towards, in the sense of like, is it a cult or not? And while I do think that the love bombing exists in the Peloton community, it's not in a manipulative and toxic way. It's in an encouraging, we're all in this together kind of way. So that's my thoughts on that. Us versus them mentality, I mean, we don't have to talk about this one too much. I mean, that one's just true. Like, it's Peloton versus the world. It's been that way since the Peloton wife commercial. I mean, that campaign that they ran with, you know, people who were talking shit on Peloton and now they love Peloton. It's like, look, now you're one of us. There's definitely an us versus them. Like, Peloton has their own language. Like, we have our own, like, inside jokes that we talk about, and just like, you know, you're either in the group or you're not in the group, and if you're not in the group, you're not in the group. You can join the group, but you're not in the group, so too bad. You know what I mean? Yeah, us versus them, that's probably like the most convincing part to me of like whether or not Peloton is a cult, is like that one right there, right? This one will be quick. Apocalyptic thinking. No one at Peloton is telling you the world is going to end. They're telling you the exact opposite. The world's not going to end. You're going to get through it. You're going to get through this workout. It's going to be over. I do, however, sometimes wish an asteroid would hit and just take us all out when I'm in the middle of the ride and the instructor's like, surprise, Tabata section. And I'm like, fuck you. I would rather be dead. But, you know, that's me. That's not Peloton. That's me. We don't have to, I don't think we have to worry about, you know, Cody Rigsby prophesizing the end of times. It's just not realistic. So we'll move on to the very last point that I want to talk about, and that is time and energy. So like the amount of time that you spend with the group, the amount of energy that you spend with the group, the amount of money that you spend to be a part of the group. This one's hard to talk your way out of. I mean, the whole point of Peloton existing as a company is to make money, right? That's the whole point of having a company, is to make money. A lot of times the whole point of having a cult and being a cult leader is to make money.
Been involved in a number of cults, both as a leader and a follower. You have more fun as a follower, but you make more money as a leader.
So yeah, Peloton is going to, you know, encourage you to spend a lot of time on their platforms, spend energy talking about Peloton with other people. I mean, that's what I'm doing right now. They're going to encourage you to spend more money. They, you know, upgrade your bike to the Bike Plus, buy our dumbbell set, buy our new Peloton shoes. Look, your favorite instructor is wearing this outfit. You could have that outfit too and you would look just like them. That is a part of it, and it toes the line between like being a company and being a cult. I think they're very similar concepts in that way. So yeah, this one, I don't know, I feel like I'm talking myself in and out of it. It's tough because obviously, like I said, the point of a company is to make money, so of course they want you to be investing your time and energy and money into their platform. Possibly get addicting, right? Like, I feel like I'm a little bit addicted to my Peloton. I spent, and to be fair, like, making YouTube videos is my only job, so I have the privilege of a lot of time, but I spent sometimes like 2.5 hours on Peloton's platform with their content throughout the day. Is that normal? I don't know. It's a tough one to say. I don't really have an answer for this time and energy one, but it's thought-provoking for sure. So let's get down to it. Let's answer the question. Is Peloton a cult? After everything we just talked about, what do you think? I'm gonna give you a second to formulate your opinion and then I'll tell you mine. I'm hearing Jeopardy music in my head, but like, I think that is copywritten and that I will not be able to insert that into this video. So I'll just tell you what I think. Yes, I do. I do. I think that a lot of Peloton practices and characteristics fall under this list. Now, I don't think it's a harmful cult at all. And because of that, I would like to say, like, I would call it a subculture, because a subculture doesn't have the same, you know, the same thoughts, the same don't drink the Kool-Aid kind of mentality behind it. Like ravers are a subculture, people who go to raves, right? They have their own practices and language and music and all that sort of stuff. Nobody says that they're a cult, right? I think, yeah, I think that I personally would call Peloton and the Peloton community more of a subculture, just because it falls under a lot of these things, but I don't think it's anything to be afraid of. So I based this video, like I said in the beginning, off of Sounds Like a Cult podcast, and what they do at the end of their podcast is they say, like, is it a live your life, a watch back, or a get the fuck out kind of cult? So that's what those ladies classify. And for me, Peloton is a cult, but it's a live your life kind of cult. You're not doing yourself any harm, you're not doing anybody else any harm, you're just vibing and thriving in a workout community. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think the same could be said for really any kind of like group workout kind of thing. Like, people say CrossFit's a cult, people say like Barry's Boot Camp is a cult, Orange Theory, non-Peloton spinning, SoulCycle, Equinox, you know, everybody says that they're all some sort of cult, and they are. It's, you know, it's just these groups that have their own things going on, and they might have some of these characteristics, and as long as, you know, they're not slipping you drugs to get you to stay with them, they're not trying to control your life outside of the time that you spend with them, and they're not, you know, trying to get you to be a doomsday prepper, the world is coming to an end, stick with us, we got you, then it doesn't really matter. It's not hurting anybody. Live your life. It's a cult. Live your life. Who cares? So that is it for today's video. I thought it was interesting. I really wanted to talk about it and talk it out with you guys. Let me know what you think. First of all, if you are like a person who's actually like an expert on cults and didn't just like pick something off of Google, I would love to hear your insight. Talk to me in the comments down below. Hit me up on Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, please follow me on Instagram. First of all, I'm begging you. Second of all, I just post about my cats and my Peloton stuff, and it's fun and it's not too serious. And it's a lot easier to engage with people on Instagram than it is in YouTube comments. I answer all my DMs and all that stuff, so if you want to talk, Instagram's a place to go. If you agree with me or disagree with me, I definitely want to know. Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know on Instagram. If you think I am a crazy cult member and that my even making this video to say it's okay that Peloton is a cult and it's okay to be a part of it, let me know. Do you think I need saving? Do you think you need to pull me out of this? Let me know. Do I look dead behind my eyes? Let me know. Oh gosh, this was so fun. fun to make. This is just, I've been thinking about this. I did so much research on it. I've been having so much fun with this the last few days. This has been like all I thought about. So I'm just happy to finally have gotten it out there. This has been so much fun. If you have not had enough of me yet, go watch one of my other videos. If you have had enough of me, I totally understand. I get sick of myself every day, so I don't take it personally. I will see you very, very soon in one of my next videos. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!